What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your licensed real estate market expert here in Charlotte, and let's talk about the real estate market. So, in 2022, Charlotte was ranked the number 2 housing market in the entire United States. In 2023, it was ranked the number 1 housing market in the entire United States. And this is from Zillow, and essentially saying Charlotte is going to be the hottest market in the entire United States. And they recently just came out with their prediction for 2024, and we dropped. Charlotte came in number 7 of the hottest housing markets in the US. Now, I want you to take a look at this. So we came in at 7. Besides Atlanta, Georgia, which was number 6, and Providence, Rhode Island, which was number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you take a look at them, I don't know those markets. I don't focus on the prices in those markets, but I'm from Ohio, and I can assure you that I believe the real estate in those other markets that were 1 through 4 are going to be a lot cheaper and have a lot more affordability options. With real estate getting more expensive and less affordable options all over the US, people are looking for those alternatives. Now, I will say Zillow did a really good job of predicting in 22 and 23. Charlotte was a hot market. It really seemed like things were not slowing down. The buyer demand just kept outpacing the supply that we had. But for us to go from number 1 and number 2 2 years in a row to drop down to number 7, that's telling us we're going to see a lot of changes in this market. If you've been watching the channel already, and if you're subscribed, you already know I've been talking about how dull this market is. The activity reminds me of exactly the market it was in 2018 and 2019. And I stand by that. We are still there. These last couple of months, and in the month of January and February, there's going to be a ton of opportunities. And there are opportunities right now. When we head into the spring and summertime, you're going to have a lot more sellers, which means you're going to have a lot more buyers and or competition. So it's going to be a very interesting market, but all in all, I think it's really going to be a good market for both buyers and sellers. Now that we're starting to see the rates start trickling down a little bit, I'm seeing a lot more sellers get off the sideline because they're starting to feel a lot more comfortable with listing their house, buying a new home, upgrading, and or downsizing if they need to, because the rates aren't almost 8% again. And right now, what I'm seeing in this market is the rate sensitivity. 2020 up until about 2022, things were so sensitive on rates. If you saw a rate drop, maybe 1/5% or 1/4%, you somehow saw all these buyers kind of come out of the woodworks. You know, the open houses were packed again. You started to see like multiple offers happening again with these little rate drops that were happening. But guys, the peak of our interest rate was hitting 8%. Depending on your credit score and down payment, some people were at 8.1, 8.2, 8.3% for an interest rate to buy a home. Currently, with relatively good credit and even like a 3% down payment, you can get about a 6.5% interest rate right now. So we've gone down 1.5%, and the sensitivity, like I said, is gone. Normally, you'd have people rushing and rushing to get into the market. However, the prices haven't really came down that much, so that's why you're not seeing those people rush. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of people just got to that point where they were just fed up. They were like, I'm sick of this. Some of these prices are crazy. These interest rates are crazy. I'm tired of it. I'm going to sit out of the real estate market. Whenever I find something, I'll find it. I'll wait for the rates to go down. I'll wait for myself to get in a better position. So I just felt like a lot of people were fed up, and that's why we don't have that sensitivity anymore. You know, like I said, we came down 1.5% from our all-time highs as far as interest rate that we've had in the last couple of years. And no ton of buyers were flooding the market like they used to, which is a great sign, for a more balanced real estate market. As we head into 2024, the chief economist at Bankrate had said he thinks that the interest rates are going to stay in the 6s. And as we start heading towards the end of the year, Q3, Q4, he expects them to possibly dip down below that 6% range. Will that be enough to flip this market and have a huge pendulum swing and things get crazy, prices start skyrocketing, lines at open houses, multiple offers going $50,000, $100,000 plus over again. No. Like I said, I think everybody was kind of fed up, and I don't see the pendulum swinging either way. There's not going to be some massive sell-off, massive real estate market crash. We're not going to get months and months of inventory and thousands of homes dumped into the market within a couple of month time frame. We're not going to have buyers lining up to get in open houses. We're not going to have the $100,000 plus over asking price, multiple offers on 3/4 of the houses that are listed on the market. That's over. We're heading into a neutral market. We're heading into a more balanced market, in a more reasonable market where you can actually take your time. You can actually shop for a home that you want without having to give an arm and a leg. You can actually get concessions from sellers. You can actually get a good price on the home. You can actually negotiate any repairs. And this is how real estate should be. The pendulum should not be swinging crazy one way or the other. But with that being said, I think the 24 market is going to be amazing. Both buyers and sellers don't see the pendulum swinging any one way more than I do the other. However, some of these stats we're going to go over are very interesting. So all the stats that we go over, even though it's January right now, are going to be from the month of December. But we have a little bit of interesting numbers here that we're going to go over. If you haven't already done so, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If there's anything I can ever do for you, call, text, or email me anytime. Now let's get into it with the market stats. So in regards to new listings, we had 2,551 new listings, and that is a 4.5% increase from this time last year. So normally when it comes to December, we expect a heavy slowdown as far as new listings, obviously due to the holidays and people traveling. But this year, I felt it. I saw more houses compared to some of these other years that we've had in December, and I was very active in the month of December. If you've been watching the channel, I was saying, guys, these next 3 months, these last 3 months that we've been in, and this month and next month are still going to be some good opportunities prior to us hitting the spring market where things could get a little bit more competitive. But yeah, new listings went up 4.5%, which is really great. Not something that anybody was expecting to happen. And in my opinion, it was definitely noticeable. You saw more new listings from what you normally see during this time of year. Next up is pending sales, which came in at 2,526, and that is a 9.8% increase from this time last year. Not that many buyers stayed on the sidelines during the month of December. And you can still see, like I was saying, pending sales is at 9.8% and our new listings is at 4.5%, which means our buyer demand is still outweighing the supply that we have here in Charlotte. Now let's get into days on market, which came in at 34, and that is a 17.1% decrease from this time last year. Last year in the month of December, the average days on market was 41. So like the pending sales were up, people were a little bit more eager and didn't let the houses sit on the market for as long as they did last year. All right, now let's get into the real estate prices. The average sales price in the month of December came in at just under $460,000, and that is a 5.4% increase from this time last year. Now, the interesting part about this is in June of 2023, the average sales price hit its absolute peak at $485,000. So when you're looking at our all-time high versus what we had just recently in the month of December, average sales price is down $25,000 from our all-time highs. And again, a lot of this plays into seasonality, but is also dependent on each situation. As far as the prices go, I think they will steadily stay. We're going to have ups and downs as seasonality is going to be one of the biggest factors in regards to real estate prices other than interest rates. But gradually, guys, we eventually one day will get back to a normal market as far as having 3, 4, 5 months of inventory, and maybe the pendulum swinging to having what we had in 2020 to 22, the sellers had, having that for the buyers. We might get into that. I think we eventually have to get into that. Unfortunately, I think that is a long, drawn-out process. That might be 2, 3, 4 years away from happening. So if you're someone that's really worried about prices, we don't know what the prices are going to do. They can do anything. But you could potentially sit out and wait to see what happens in the next 2 or 3 years, or you can get in the market right now. But again, I do think these prices will start to trickle down a little bit in the next couple of years, but in the foreseeable future, I think it's going to stay relatively steady with a couple ebbs and flows with seasonality. But again, this all varies on a case-by-case basis. You can find a house right now that's listed at $500 and potentially get it for $460, $450, and you can have your discount, you can have your equity in the home as well. Moving on to median sales price, which came in at $370,000, and that is a 0.7% decrease from this time last year. And from our all-time highs, our median sales price, the highest it ever was in the Charlotte area, was $400,000. Right now we are at $370,000, which is a $30,000 difference. We're seeing that trickle up and down. What is keeping the average sales price up is we have a lot of houses in Charlotte that are above $500,000. We have 500,000 plus, we have multi-million-dollar homes and things like that. And when you look at the averages, it takes all of those properties combined. That's where you get that average. The median sales price, I always tell people, is very important to look at, because if you're a first-time home buyer and things like that, you want to try to be within at least that $370,000 range. Obviously, try to shoot for more. But again, it depends on what you're looking for and where you're looking for. There are some places in and around Charlotte where you can find new construction houses in the low 400s, so you can definitely find some resale homes under the 370 mark, but it's just a good pinpoint as far as what you should aim at if you're a first-time home buyer. And if you have more questions on that, feel free to call, text, or email me. Moving on to the percentage of the original list price received, which came in at 96.4, and that is a 1.7% increase from this time last year. Percentage of the original list price. What this is telling you is that on average, you can expect to pay 3.6% below the listed price of a home when you close. And the interesting thing about this stat is a lot of people have asked me, Sasha, do you think we're going to get back to a market that's going to be prior to 2020, 17, 18, 19? Short answer, as far as prices goes, no, I don't see us ever going back to pre-pandemic pricing. However, as far as other stats goes, like percentage of the original list price received, right now, guys, we're at 2018, 2019, and 2020 levels. People were roughly getting about 3.6% off listed price of homes in 2018, 19, and 2020. So as far as this stat goes, we are at pre-pandemic levels, and there's a couple other stats like days on market that are also at the pre-pandemic levels. But very important to pay attention to. But like I always say, it depends on the scenario, and it's all on a case-by-case basis. Make sure you do your due diligence as far as comparable sales and things like that to see what you could potentially land at your final closing price of whatever home you're interested in. Last but not least, the Widowmaker months of inventory, which came in at 1.7, and that is a 5.6% decrease from this time last year. And essentially, to break this down for you, what this is saying is right now we have 1.7 months of inventory. So if the market continued to move the way that it has with the buyers, in 1.7 months, all of the homes would be bought in the real estate market. So it's kind of giving you a little bit of a leeway. This is nothing. It's obviously double more than what we had in 2020 and 21 due to the situation that we were in at that time. But again, I'm feeling more listings coming on the market as I did in December, and every single day I'm seeing more houses hit the market. It's going to be very interesting to see where inventory is going to end up at this year. But like I said, with the rates starting to trickle down, a lot more sellers will be coming off the sidelines, listing their house, buying something new, upgrading, downsizing, whatever the case is. I hope you enjoy this video. Call, text, or email me if there's anything I could ever do for you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.